Witney Refugee Action Group is a group of people who live in Witney who basically could see the refugee crisis unfolding, the enormous humanitarian crisis unfolding, I think around the sort of summer, autumn of 2015, and it just was unbearable to see and had to do something.
I just found myself kind of crying at the news all the time and, weeping over social media and thinking, why aren't people doing things? Why aren't people helping them? Mm-hmm. And then I kind of realised that I was a person and I could do it.
I'd say it's just a group of normal people in part of the community that wanted to do something in response to the refugee crisis.
Witney Refugee Action was started by people who just all felt the same. They felt the same kind of disgust at what was happening, or the shock of what was happening, and the disgust at how little was being done by actual political organisations like the government. And so just kind of said, right, well, if they're not going to do anything, we will. And it was just ordinary people. It wasn't, a top-down initiative at all. And they got together, they found each other.
It started quite slowly. I thought, I'll give it a go, and once I got talking to people I realised there was no great authority on this. You just have to muck in and everybody can, so everyone's really welcoming. Do what you can and help where you can, really.
So when I first got involved, which I think was around November 2015, it was basically a sort of knee-jerk response to the crisis that was happening, and it was more based around collections of items to go to the camps in France.
I got involved because I was working in Waterstones at the time, which was the drop-off point for all the donations that the people of Witney provided.
It was my friend actually. He was like, so I think I'm going to go to Calais, because he was visiting from I think it was Malaysia he was living in at the time, and he was just back for a month, and he was like, I want to do something while I'm here, so I'm thinking of going to Calais, do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, definitely. We ended up going every other weekend from about mid-February till about probably May time.
We are a group of volunteers who, we've all got different roles. Some of us deal with aid, some deal with events. We work with other groups, volunteer groups across the country, and we've got a bit of a network going on now, so it feels like we're really part of a team.
I don't think there is a town or village, certainly not a city, across the UK that hasn't got a similar group, or several similar groups happening. It is, and it's incredible, and is a real mirror actually to that kind of media narrative, that rhetoric that we don't care and don't come over here and we don't want to help, because it's proof that people do. Mainly using social media. We've got a Facebook group, we've got a Twitter account. People come to us, similar to what I said at the beginning, I wanted something to be able to do something, and actually that's what we found. There are hundreds and hundreds of members of our community that want to do something to help and are, just joining us every single week. We have more and more and more people, and it is predominantly through social media.
500 members on the Facebook page, and probably about 10 or 15 active committee members. So we're a bit more organised probably. We really do listen to what's needed, and we make sure there's a route out, and try and have a focus each month to try and pull people's resources, I suppose. We get a definitive list of what's going on, and then we share it to the group, and we ask members of the group to share it amongst their friends and family and colleagues as well, and that's always worked really well in the past.
We're definitely a lot more organised, and we have more of a focus, I think, as well, and a goal of what we want to do, what we want to achieve, like in terms of fundraising or donation runs and appeals.
I think people have learnt on the job, certainly in terms of what it takes to really coordinate this effort. One of the things I think was a challenge was there were so many offers of help, so many people either wanting to get involved themselves or with something to give, like duvets or clothes or food, that it needed someone to actually kind of come forwards and become the supervisor, the coordinator of it all. And so people have kind of naturally found their strength, found what they're good at.
You can get bogged down with everything that's happening in the world, and but we can actually make a difference. When you see, I see boxes that I've personally sent arriving in Syria, and you actually do realise that we are making a difference. We've done a food collection. We have done quite a bit on toiletries. A really big one was a medical, that's still ongoing, the medical collection.
1 month it was a particular drive for glasses and that kind of, sort of reading aids, sight aids. Some months there's been particular demand for things like crutches, wheelchairs. At the moment it's travel cots.
And one of our sort of most successful, for want of a better word, campaign was for medical supplies to go over to Syria. About 3 times we've done that, and it has been an incredible response.
We've sent loads and loads of children's stuff. That's what kind of gets people, I think. Loads of children's clothes, coats, winter aid, and just money I think we've sent a few times as well.
You just filled a shoebox for either a little boy or a little girl, and we had like a list of stuff that you could fill it with, like colouring pencils, toys, sweets, chocolate, that sort of thing, and then like a book or something. And then you just wrap the shoebox up in nice wrapping paper, and then people would drop it off at Waterstones, and they shipped it off to Syria, and hopefully made loads of children really happy.
Knitted aid as well, so we've now got knitting groups across the county, I suppose, of lovely ladies that beaver away making baby stuff all the time, which just fills my heart with joy. The love that goes into that, the care that goes into every single item. You know, we could buy it for £1, but somebody has spent hours putting so much love. And the picture in my mind is always that someone in a queue holding their cold baby is going to be handed a lovely knitted blanket, and they're going to know that somebody cares about them. And that's what gets me every time. That's why we've got to keep going, because we can't send rubbish. We've got to send the very best, because it's about making sure they've got their dignity.
We also had an appeal to furnish the homes of the families that came here. As part of the government's Syrian resettlement scheme, Witney, West Oxfordshire, welcomed, I think, about 3 families to begin with, and then another cohort of 4 into Witney. The task was to find homes and to furnish those homes, to find schools, to find befrienders and language teachers, and it was an enormous task. But there was also a lot of other groups that really wanted to help. So, local faith groups, local schools, other refugee action groups such as Witney Refugee Action and Ensham, and all from around West Oxfordshire that really did want to help. So that was what we utilised that community effort to do this Adopt a Room scheme. It's based on a sort of scheme that Asylum Welcome from Oxford designed around, because they welcome refugees all the time, and a group will adopt a room in a house for a family, and it will have a list of items that's needed, and then that group will source those items and drop it off. So it's very, very simple, and we just took that idea and expanded it into all of the homes.
Within about 48, 72 hours, all rooms in all the houses for all families were completely furnished, and we had spare stuff. Spare mattresses, and there was a while we couldn't move for curtains. There were so many curtains coming into the drop-off point, and it was just so long after they were all. And it was amazing that just people responded so well to it.
So there were that particular campaign were 4 houses, 4 families, and around 6 rooms in each house. So 24 rooms. and I hadn't had them up before.
Take these bed sheets, warm yourselves, take this cutlery, feed yourselves, take these toys, enjoy yourselves. Take these lunch boxes, though you have carried so much, let them lighten your load, take this mirror. Remember how beautiful it is to see yourself smile. Take these towels, the storm will pass and you will be dry again. Take this carpet, take these rugs, and whenever you fall there will be a soft landing. Take these curtains, take the gap between them, it will remind you that there will always be light. Etihad have a Watney fi masketten rasi kuntu day mal day hata hippihuna. Take this home, in my hometown. It will always be yours if you need it.
Our biggest thing was the Asylum Sounds thing in last September, which I think helped, helped us put the message out there a lot. It's a fun way to get people involved.
Yeah, Asylum Sounds was a music event we put on in September last year, September 2016, and it was on the back of the Adopt a Room scheme. So, it was it felt like it was the right time and a good time to do something to firstly give back to the community. Do this. We did a music event in the Rock Barn in the centre of Witney, and we had world music and arts, and we invited the families to bring food to share, and it was a real kind of grassroots world music. As long as we've had refugees applying for asylum in Oxfordshire, Asylum Welcome have been working hard to support them, and it is hard work. It is a big job. So we wanted to raise some money to give back to them for all of their support with welcoming the families into Witney.
Before I went to Calais, I really knew nothing about any of this. Absolutely nothing. I think I've just been more aware of life. And, just humanity. It's horrible sometimes, but it's also amazing. The things people do and the things we can achieve when we all work together. We couldn't have done any of this without everyone. We could say we want to raise money, or we want to take donations, and we want to buy things, but we can't just do that without people supporting us.
Oh, I'd like to say, thank you for all of your support, and to all those people that join us and are leading various campaigns and going out to Calais and coming and sending things out, and packing up boxes, and all of the rest of it. All that hard work is amazing. But to the wider community, those boxes wouldn't be packed. There would be nothing to put in them without you. There'd be no funds raised if we didn't have people coming along to our quizzes or our music events, or So thank you for supporting us. Yeah, it's amazing.
Actually, you can make a difference even if you don't have any power in a political sense. If you don't have to be, a local councillor or an MP, or you don't have to go through Parliament or any of that to actually change things. There is a real place and a real ability for grassroots organisations to actually make a difference just by getting on with it.
One person makes a difference, so a whole town or a community in the town makes a massive difference, and we've seen it, so it definitely works. Or just do a tiny little thing at a time, and I guess it will pick up. You'll realise what you want to do. It's kind of basically what happened to me. I would never have gone to Calais, I don't think, unless my friend was like, yeah, come with me. So for me, it kind of fell into my lap. And then from then, I started trying to do something, do things more, and just started small. small but good.
Get involved. You get involved. You don't have to, make it a massive part of your life. You don't have to give up hours every week. Be aware of what you can do. If everyone did something little, there's 30,000 people in Witney. If everyone gave, I don't know, 10 quid just to Witney Refugee Action Group, said, here, buy some paracetamol for, people in Calais, buy some cutlery for the resettled families. That's £300,000 you've got. Like you don't have to do an awful lot to make a hell of a difference. Great Wall of Calais was a poem I wrote in response to our government's response to the refugee crisis in Calais, of basically just building a massive wall around a problem and not really engaging with it. And it made me really angry that we have millions to spend on penning people in like animals, but not any to spend on actually helping them. And when I got to work and we had all the donations that had come in from the people of Witney in our storeroom, and it was kind of resembling a wall itself by that point. And I thought that's the kind of wall we should be building for people, rather than walls to actually totally dehumanise them. We should be building walls of charity and of aid.
We're building a wall for Calais. We're building the Great Wall of Calais, and it's a wall not of logs and sticks. We're not using cement, it's a different kind of bricks. These bricks are charitable donations. We're building a wall out of charity itself, and it started with a pile, then a heap, then a shelf, then a mound, then a fence, then a low-level demarcation line, and then a wall. It's not a wall to keep people out, it's a wall to bring people in. It's a wall made of donated blankets and blouses, it's a wall made of jumpers and jackets and trousers, it's a wall that's growing. So come build the wall. It's not a comb-over wall, a fake town wall, or who's gonna pay for the wall, it's a wall for people, not for animals, not a wall to turn people into animals. It doesn't dehumanise, criminalise or criticise, let's organise, let's build a wall. It's a wall not of stone and mortar, it's a wall of tinned food and bottled water, it's a wall of aspirin and cowpol and tampons, so come build the wall. It's not a concrete wall, at enormous cost, which so as not to offend people by waking them from their arrogance or shaking them from their ignorance as flowers planted on one side leaving soil on the other. It doesn't work like that. They need each other and so do we, so reach out to one another and let's build a wall. It's a wall made of duvets and bedding, it's a wall made of brollies and buggies, it's a wall made of specs and curtains, it's unstoppable, I'm certain, so come build the wall. And this is a modern wall. This is the modern wall. We're not doing it like they did in the old days, great wonders built on the backs of dead slaves and ageing men and young children worked to the bone in pits and quarries, huge lorries pulling pre-poured panels put up by post-war powers. No, this is a modern wall. This is the modern wall. We're building a wall. So tall and so high it will reach the sky, and when it does, we'll make it wider, till our wall wraps round the whole wide world from end to end and side to side, in the boxes, under beds, and in the bottom of wardrobes, in the backs of the cupboards, in the kitchen there's bricks. So come bring a brick for the wall, and come build the wall. It's a structure to rival anything natural or man-made. It's a stripe of our community, an outpost of humanity. So come on, join me. Let's build this wall together. It might just make us all a little taller.
Anything is possible. We are very much stronger as a team. I come away from meeting up with the other members of the committee and I'm empowered. We come up with an idea and within a month it's happening. Who knew that Witney could send tens of thousands of pounds worth of aid month in, month out? We're sending so much stuff and it's just from everybody kind of chipping in and working as a team. So that's it's made me realise that a lot of people do care, but they just needed a way to show it. They needed an outlet. I've been delighted at times by what people have given, but I've never been surprised. I've always hoped that it was there.